What if I told you that buried within the book of Psalms lies a spiritual formula so potent, so transformative, that the ancient rabbis whispered about it only in sacred chambers, away from those unprepared to wield its power? This is not about religion as you know it. This is about unlocking a divine frequency that has been singing through creation since before Abraham walked the earth. A frequency that dissolves poverty consciousness and aligns your very soul with the abundance of Hashem. For thousands of years, this psalm has been recited, chanted, and prayed over, yet its deepest secret has remained veiled. Tonight, that veil is lifted. But before we step into this revelation together, I need you to do something. Subscribe to Jewish Wisdom right now, not as a casual viewer, but as a seeker committed to transformation. This channel exists to bring these ancient truths out of the shadows and into your life. Your subscription is your declaration that you are ready. Now, write this in the comments. I am a vessel of divine abundance. Write it, speak it into existence. Let the algorithm and the universe know your intention. The scarcity mindset is not merely a psychological condition. According to the Kabbalistic masters, it is a spiritual blockage, a clipper, a shell that separates you from the endless flow of Shefa divine abundance. You are not created to struggle. You are not designed to live in lack. The very breath in your lungs is proof that the Creator sustains you moment by moment with infinite generosity. Yet somewhere, somehow, a lie took root in your consciousness. That lie whispers, there is not enough. That lie declares, you are not worthy. That lie chains you to a reality far beneath your spiritual inheritance. The sages teach that every letter in the Torah contains worlds within worlds. Every word is a gateway. Every verse is a key. And there is one psalm, one specific arrangement of Hebrew letters, that when understood and activated properly, becomes a tuning fork for prosperity. Not the cheap prosperity of fleeting material gain, but the deep soul-level abundance that transforms everything you touch. This is about aligning with the Creator's original intention for your life. In the beginning, before Eden was planted, before Adam drew his first breath, the Infinite One looked into the future and saw you. Yes, you. Reading these words, struggling perhaps with bills, with doubt, with the weight of financial pressure. And in that eternal moment, provision was already made. The abundance you seek is not somewhere out there, waiting to be earned. It is already woven into the fabric of your destiny. The psalm we are about to explore is simply the key to unlock what has always been yours. But here is what you must understand. This is not magic. This is covenant. The Hebrew word for blessing, Bracha, shares the same root as Barika, which means pool or reservoir. A blessing is not a random gift from the sky. It is access to a reservoir that already exists. The righteous do not beg for abundance. They tap into it. They align themselves with the divine flow. And the psalm we are about to reveal has been the hidden gateway for generations of those who knew how to use it. Think about this. Why did King David, the sweet psalmist of Israel, compose 150 psalms? Why not one? Why not 10? Because each psalm is a specific spiritual technology, designed for a specific need. Some psalms are for protection, others for healing, some for repentance. And there is one, carefully positioned within the collection, that specifically addresses the spiritual roots of poverty and lack. The rabbis knew this. The Hasidic masters taught this. But the true depth of its power has been reserved for those desperate enough, hungry enough, faithful enough to seek it out. You are here because your soul recognizes that there is more. You are here because deep within you knows that the struggle is not your portion. You are here because the Spirit of truth is drawing you toward a breakthrough that religion alone could never provide. What you are about to receive is not theory. It is fire, it is ancient, it is real. And it has the power to completely rewire how you relate to provision, to money, to abundance itself. Are you ready? Then take a breath, quiet the noise around you, and prepare to receive what has been hidden for such a time as this. The psalm we speak of is Psalm 92, the Shir Shel Yom, the Song of the Sabbath Day. On the surface, it appears to be a simple hymn of praise, a meditation on the greatness of God and the flourishing of the righteous. But the Zohar, the foundational text of Jewish mysticism, reveals that this psalm contains encoded within it the spiritual mechanics of prosperity. It is no coincidence that this psalm is assigned specifically to Shabbat, the day when all creative energy in the universe shifts from doing to receiving, from effort to blessing. Listen to the words, truly listen. The righteous shall flourish like the palm tree. They shall grow like a cedar in Lebanon, planted in the house of the Lord. They shall flourish in the courts of our God. They shall still bring forth fruit in old age. They shall be full of sap and richness. This is not poetry. This is a blueprint. The Hebrew word for flourish here is yafrachu, which shares its root with the word for breaking through, for sprouting forth with unstoppable life. The righteous do not struggle into prosperity. They flourish. They break through the soil of limitation naturally, inevitably, because they are planted in the right soil. But who are the righteous? The Talmud teaches that the righteous are not those who are perfect, but those who are aligned. Aligned with Torah, aligned with divine purpose, aligned with the flow of giving and receiving that sustains all creation. The scarcity mindset is fundamentally a state of misalignment. It is the soul turned inward, grasping, fearful, convinced that it must hoard because the universe is stingy. But the Creator is not stingy. The entire cosmos is an outpouring of divine generosity. Every sunrise, every breath, every drop of rain. It all declares one truth. Hashem gives without measure. The Kabbalists explain that there are two types of consciousness: Mokin Dekatnot, small mind, and Mokin Dekadlit, expanded mind. Small mind sees lack everywhere. It counts every coin. It fears every expense. It believes that resources are finite and that someone else's gain is your loss. This is Egypt consciousness. This is slavery consciousness. But expanded mind sees with the eyes of Shabbat. It recognizes that the source of all provision is infinite, and that when you align yourself with that source, you tap into a flow that never runs dry. Psalm 92 was sung by the Levites in the temple every Sabbath because the Sabbath itself is a weekly reset of consciousness. 6 days we toil. 6 days we operate in the realm of effort and striving. But on the seventh day, we stop. We cease. We declare that our provision does not depend on our labor alone, but on the blessing of the one who commands abundance into existence. And in that cessation, in that holy pause, something shifts. The universe recalibrates. The soul remembers its true nature. And prosperity begins to flow, not because you worked harder, but because you aligned deeper. The palm tree mentioned in the psalm is significant. In the ancient world, the date palm was a symbol of wealth and sustenance. It grows in the harshest deserts, drawing water from deep underground sources invisible to the eye. The righteous are like this. They do not depend on surface conditions. They tap into hidden wells. They draw from the deep reservoir of divine provision that exists beneath every circumstance. This is why the psalm says they are planted in the house of the Lord. Their roots go down into sacred soil, into covenant relationship, into the very heart of the Creator's abundance. Rabbi Nachman of Breslov taught that every financial struggle is rooted in a spiritual disconnection. When you feel the grip of lack, it is not because the universe has turned against you. It is because somewhere, somehow, you have forgotten who you are. You are a child of the Most High. You are heir to the promises given to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. The blessing spoken over them is your inheritance. But inheritance must be claimed. It must be activated. And Psalm 92 is one of the ancient activation codes. Now hear this carefully. The psalm does not work like a magic spell. It is not about reciting words mechanically and expecting money to fall from the sky. The power of the psalm lies in what it does to your consciousness. When you meditate on these words, when you allow them to sink deep into your spirit, they begin to reprogram the scarcity narrative that has been running in the background of your mind. They replace fear with faith. They replace grasping with trust. They replace the slavery mentality with the mindset of a son or daughter who knows their father owns everything. This is the secret the ancient sages guarded so carefully. Prosperity is not about external circumstances changing first. It is about internal alignment shifting first. When your soul aligns with the frequency of abundance, when you begin to see yourself as the righteous person described in the psalm, planted, flourishing, fruitful, the external world has no choice but to mirror that inner reality. This is spiritual law. This is how the universe operates. As within, so without. As above, so below. So how do we activate this ancient technology in our daily lives? How do we move from intellectual understanding to actual transformation? The first step is recitation with intention. Every Shabbat, before the sun sets on Friday evening, read Psalm 92 aloud. Not quickly, not mindlessly, but slowly, savoring every word, allowing the Hebrew letters to vibrate through your being. If you do not know Hebrew, read it in English, but research the deeper meanings. Let the words become living seeds planted in the soil of your heart. The second step is visualization. As you recite the psalm, see yourself as the palm tree. See your roots going deep into the house of the Lord, into covenant relationship, into the unshakable foundation of divine promise. See yourself flourishing, growing, bearing fruit even in seasons when logic says you should be barren. This is not fantasy. This is prophetic imagination. You are declaring what is true in the spiritual realm before it manifests in the physical. The third step is practical generosity. This may seem counterintuitive when you are struggling financially, but it is absolutely essential. The scarcity mindset hoards. The abundance mindset gives. Find a way, no matter how small, to be a conduit of blessing. Give tzedakah, charity, not out of guilt or obligation, but as a declaration that you trust the source. When you give, you are telling the universe, I am not operating from lack, I am operating from overflow. And the universe responds to that signal. Write this in the comments right now. I flourish like the palm tree in every season. Declare it. Believe it. Let it become the new operating system of your soul. Now, here is something important. If you are enjoying this content, if you feel the stirring of something real happening in your spirit, there is a way you can support this mission. Below this video, you will see a button that says thank you. If you feel led, if you have been blessed by what you are receiving here, consider contributing. It does not have to be much. Even the smallest act of partnership helps us continue bringing these ancient truths to light. We would be deeply grateful for your support. But beyond financial giving, there is another practice the sages recommend: Shabbat observance. Even if you are not Jewish, you can honor the principle of Sabbath rest. One day a week, cease striving. Stop trying to force outcomes. Rest in the assurance that the Creator is working on your behalf, even when you are still. This weekly practice reprograms the scarcity mindset at its core. It teaches you that your worth is not tied to your productivity, and your provision is not limited to your effort. Another powerful practice is gratitude journaling through the lens of this psalm. Each evening, write down 3 ways you saw evidence of divine abundance in your day. Maybe someone blessed you unexpectedly. Maybe you found provision where there seemed to be none. Maybe you experienced peace in the midst of financial pressure. Train your eyes to see the flourishing that is already happening, even if it is small. What you focus on expands. What you acknowledge multiplies. The rabbis also teach the practice of speaking blessings over your finances. Before you pay a bill, bless the money as it leaves your hand. Thank the Creator for the ability to meet your obligations. Declare that as this flows out, more flows in, because you are connected to an infinite source. This is not positive thinking. This is covenant consciousness. You are reminding yourself and the spiritual realm that you operate under divine economy, not the economy of fear. Finally, study the lives of the patriarchs and matriarchs: Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel. All of them experienced supernatural provision because they walked in covenant. Their stories are not just history, they are templates. They show us what happens when imperfect people trust a perfect God with their provision. When you read their stories, you are not reading about someone else's blessing. You are reading about your inheritance. Their God is your God. Their covenant is your covenant. Their abundance is your birthright. This is how the scarcity mindset breaks. Not through willpower, but through revelation. Not through striving, but through alignment. Not through manipulation, but through trust. Psalm 92 is the key because it rewrites the narrative. It tells you who you really are: righteous, planted, flourishing, fruitful. And when you begin to believe that, when you begin to live from that truth, everything changes. The invisible wells of provision open. The hidden streams of blessing begin to flow. And you discover what the ancients always knew. You were never meant to live in lack. You were designed for abundance, created for overflow, destined to flourish in every season. This is your spiritual inheritance. Now it is time to claim it. Let me tell you a story that will make this real. There was a man in Jerusalem, a scholar, a teacher of Torah, who lived in grinding poverty. Every month was a battle. Every bill was a crisis. He prayed constantly. He studied faithfully, but the breakthrough never came. One day, broken and desperate, he went to see a great Chassidic Rebbe. He poured out his heart, his frustration, his confusion. If God is good, why am I suffering? If I am faithful, why am I lacking? The Rebbe listened in silence. Then he asked a simple question: do you recite Psalm 92 on Shabbat? The man nodded. Of course, he said. Every week the Rebbe leaned forward. But do you believe it? Do you see yourself as a righteous one who flourishes? Or do you recite it while secretly agreeing with the voice that says you are cursed, forgotten, unworthy? The man broke down. He confessed that deep in his heart, he had believed the lie. He had believed that poverty was his portion. That struggle was his destiny. The Rebbe took his hands. "Listen to me," he said. "The words you speak over yourself are more powerful than any external force. You have been declaring lack over your life while reciting a psalm of abundance. From this day forward, when you read those words, see yourself in them. You are the palm tree. You are planted in the house of the Lord. You flourish in his courts. You bear fruit even in old age. Believe it, declare it, live it." That man left the Rebbe's presence, changed. Not because his circumstances had shifted, but because his consciousness had. He began to recite Psalm 92 with tears of faith, with the conviction that every word was a description of his true identity. And within 6 months, everything turned around. Opportunities appeared. Provision flowed. Doors opened that had been closed for years. He did not change his actions. He changed his beliefs. And his reality followed. This is the power we are talking about. This is what happens when ancient spiritual technology meets genuine faith. The psalm does not change God's mind about you. God has always been generous, always abundant, always willing to bless. The psalm changes your mind about God and about yourself. It dismantles the poverty consciousness that has kept you locked in cycles of lack. It replaces the orphan mentality with the mentality of a beloved child who knows their father's resources are limitless. Now I want you to do something. Close your eyes for a moment. Place your hand over your heart and ask yourself honestly, what do I truly believe about my worthiness to receive abundance? Do I believe I am the righteous one who flourishes? Or do I carry shame, guilt, unworthiness that blocks the flow? Whatever comes up, do not judge it. Simply acknowledge it, and then release it. You are not defined by your past. You are not limited by your mistakes. You are a new creation, planted in the house of the Lord, and your flourishing is inevitable. Write this in the comments, and let it be a declaration over your life. I release every lie of lack, and I embrace my identity as one who flourishes. Write it. Let the words carry power. Let them be a stake in the ground, marking the moment everything shifted. The truth is, many of you have been faithful for so long. You have prayed, you have believed, you have sown seed after seed, and yet the harvest has seemed delayed. But hear me, nothing you have sown has been wasted. Every prayer, every act of faith, every moment of trust in the darkness has all been accumulating in the spiritual realm. The palm tree does not bear fruit immediately. It takes years of silent growth, roots going deep, strength being built beneath the surface. But when it finally bears fruit, it does so abundantly, continuously, for decades. You are in that season right now. The roots have been going deep. The foundation has been laid. And the breakthrough you have been waiting for is not far off. But you must continue to align your consciousness with the truth of Psalm 92. You must continue to see yourself as planted, as flourishing, as fruitful, even when the evidence is not yet visible. This is the test. This is where faith becomes substance. This is where the righteous truly flourished, not because circumstances are perfect, but because their trust in the source is unshakable. We have journeyed deep into an ancient mystery, and if your heart is stirring, if something within you is awakening, it is because the Spirit of truth is confirming what you have heard. Psalm 92 is not just a song. It is a spiritual blueprint for prosperity, a divine frequency that dissolves scarcity and aligns you with the abundance of heaven. But knowledge alone changes nothing. You must apply it. You must live it. You must become the embodiment of the truth it declares. Every Shabbat, as you recite these words, remember that you are not begging for blessing. You are stepping into alignment with a blessing that already exists. You are not trying to convince God to be generous. You are opening yourself to receive what He has already freely given. The righteous flourish not because they are perfect, but because they are connected to the source. And that connection is available to you right now, in this moment, regardless of what your bank account says or what your circumstances look like. Here is what I want you to understand with absolute clarity. The scarcity mindset is a prison, but the door has always been unlocked. You have been sitting in a cell with an open door, convinced you cannot leave. Psalm 92 is the voice calling you out, reminding you that freedom is your birthright, abundance is your inheritance, and flourishing is your destiny. The question is not whether God is willing to bless you. The question is whether you are willing to step out of the prison and into the promise. The ancient sages understood something profound about human consciousness. They knew that we become what we meditate upon. They knew that the words we speak over ourselves shape our reality more powerfully than any external circumstance. This is why they prescribed specific psalms for specific spiritual conditions. They were not engaging in superstition. They were applying spiritual law. When you immerse yourself in the language of flourishing, when you saturate your mind with images of the righteous bearing fruit, when you declare over and over that you are planted in the house of the Lord, something shifts at the deepest level of your being. The Baal Shem Tov, the founder of Hasidic Judaism, taught that where your thoughts dwell, there you are. If your thoughts constantly dwell in lack, in fear, in the belief that there will never be enough, then that is the reality you inhabit. But if your thoughts begin to dwell in the truth of divine abundance, if you train your mind to see yourself as the palm tree described in Psalm 92, then you begin to inhabit a different reality altogether. This is not wishful thinking. This is the fundamental principle of how spiritual energy becomes physical manifestation. Think about the palm tree again. It does not worry about the desert around it. It does not panic when rain does not fall. It simply sends its roots deeper, accessing water sources that surface-dwelling plants cannot reach. This is the consciousness we are called to develop. When external circumstances seem barren, when the economy contracts, when opportunities appear to dry up, the righteous do not panic. They go deeper. They tap into the well that never runs dry. They draw from the source that existed before any economy, any market, any human system of exchange. And here is something crucial that many miss. Prosperity in the biblical sense is never just about you. It is always about blessing flowing through you to others. Abraham was blessed to be a blessing. The palm tree bears fruit, not for itself alone, but to feed others. When you begin to flourish according to the pattern of Psalm 92, you do not become a hoarder. You become a conduit. Abundance flows to you, so it can flow through you. This is the divine economy. This is how the kingdom of heaven operates. And when you align with this flow, when you become a generous giver as well as a grateful receiver, the floodgates open in ways that defy natural explanation. I want to speak directly to those of you who have been faithful for years, who have believed and trusted and prayed, yet still feel like the breakthrough has not come. You are closer than you think. The palm tree does not bear fruit in its first year, or its second, or even its fifth, but when it finally matures, it produces abundantly for 70 years or more. Your season of fruitfulness is not cancelled because it has been delayed. In fact, the delay has been deepening your roots, strengthening your trunk, preparing you to sustain a level of blessing that would have destroyed you if it came too soon. The scarcity mindset wants you to give up. It wants you to believe that if blessing has not come by now, it never will. But that is the voice of Egypt, the voice of slavery, the voice of the taskmaster who wants to keep you building with straw and mud when you were designed to dwell in a land flowing with milk and honey. Do not listen to that voice. Counter it with the voice of Psalm 92. Counter it with the declaration that you are planted, that you are flourishing, that you will bear fruit even in old age. Speak these words until they drown out every lie the enemy has whispered in your ear. Now, if you have been impacted by what you have learned here tonight, if this revelation has touched something deep within you, we have created a resource to help you go even deeper. The Jewish Wisdom ebook on abundant prosperity is a comprehensive guide to the ancient Hebrew principles of wealth, provision, and divine abundance. It takes the truths we have explored tonight and expands them into practical, actionable wisdom you can apply immediately. The link is in the description of this video and in the first pinned comment. This is not just information. This is transformation. And if you are serious about breaking free from the scarcity mindset and stepping into the fullness of your spiritual inheritance, this resource will be an invaluable companion on your journey. But whether you access the ebook or not, do not leave this moment unchanged. Do not let this be just another video you watched and forgot. Let this be the turning point. Let this be the day you stopped agreeing with lack and started declaring abundance. Let this be the moment you planted yourself firmly in the house of the Lord and decided that flourishing is not optional. It is inevitable. Because here is the ultimate truth that Psalm 92 reveals. Your flourishing is not dependent on the world's economy, on political systems, on what others think you deserve, or even on your past mistakes. Your flourishing is rooted in the unchanging nature of the Eternal One who called you, chose you, and planted you in his house. The same power that brought water from a rock in the wilderness, that rained manna from heaven for 40 years, that multiplied oil in the widow's jar, that fed 5,000 with 5 loaves and 2 fish, that same power is available to you. Not because you are special, but because he is faithful. Not because you have earned it, but because it is his nature to provide for his children. The scarcity mindset has convinced you that you are on your own, that you must scrape and claw and fight for every scrap. But the truth is, you have a Father who owns the cattle on 1,000 hills, who holds the wealth of nations in his hand, who commands blessing with a word. So rise up, declare your identity. Recite Psalm 92 not as a ritual, but as a proclamation. You are the righteous one who flourishes. You are planted in the house of the Lord. You bear fruit in every season. You are full of sap and richness, overflowing with the life and provision of heaven. This is not arrogance. This is not presumption. This is covenant. This is who you were created to be before the lie of lack ever took root. And as you align yourself with this truth, as you meditate on it day and night, as you let it reshape your thoughts, your words, your expectations, you will begin to see the evidence manifest in your physical reality. The breakthrough is not somewhere far off in the future. It begins the moment you change your agreement. The moment you stop agreeing with poverty and start agreeing with Psalm 92, the spiritual atmosphere around you shifts. Angels are activated. Doors begin to unlock. Favor starts to flow. Ideas come. Connections happen. Opportunities appear. Not because you manipulated the universe, but because you aligned with the divine flow that was always there, always available, always waiting for you to tap into it. And as you walk forward from this moment, carry this final truth with you like a seal upon your heart. The same God who spoke the universe into existence with a word speaks blessing over your life with that same creative power. You are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. You are seen, known, loved, and provided for by the one who owns everything. Trust him. Align with him. Meditate on his word. Let Psalm 92 become the lens through which you see yourself and your future. And watch as the ancient secret transforms your reality from the inside out. As you step out of the prison of scarcity and into the promised land of abundance that has been yours all along. Shabbat Shalom. May you flourish like the palm tree in every season of your life. May abundance be your portion, and generosity your legacy. And may the blessing of the Eternal One rest upon you, and upon all that you set your hand to. From this day forward, and forevermore, you are blessed. You are chosen. You were planted in the house of the Lord. Now go and flourish.